specifying an amount, and we'd have to make sure we include the verbiage of estimate, estimated,
Right.
is once we set a notice amount for an assessment, I believe we cannot increase it.
Right. And that wouldn't come out with this first notice anyway.
Correct.
Okay. Are you satisfied with that answer, Mr. Trost? You got all your information?
So we can't increase this 1.5 million, you're saying?
No, once we notify them of their individual proposed assessment amount.
We can't notify them of an estimated amount?
Mayor and council, and I'm probably playing catch-up here. I think typically with this notice, you do include the estimate on a per parcel basis as a separate attachment with the letter. I think that's typically the practice. And what Don is saying is that you cannot, absent giving additional notice of a different amount, assess a higher amount than the amount indicated in this initial notice.
Right. Even if it's designated as an estimate?
Even if it's designated as an estimate. And I guess my concern, which is not strictly a legal concern, is that in doing, if you were going to actually put the amount into this letter, many people have several properties, and so would you send several letters, each with a different amount? Is there potential for confusion then in doing those notices? I think maybe the typical practice is among cities just to enclose everybody's estimated amount as a single document so that there isn't that potential for confusion.
That's what you used to do.
So everybody sees everybody's estimate, just like we do. They get the same
That's
piece
correct.
of. Okay, well, there you go.
You're going to send that other sheet that's in there with their names on? Correct. When we did the Willow Street project, it was way higher than that. Well, how did we get by with that then?
Boy, Mayor and council, I guess I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
You talking about the 2004?
Well, before Bolton, when we used to have bonus roll, it was always higher than the estimate. Since bonus roll left this city, it's more, our engineering firm is pretty close to the estimate. It seemed like the engineering firm before this was always estimated very low.
I didn't know there was a restriction that we couldn't be.
I never knew there was a restriction.
Not when we send the individual notice.
Oh, yeah.
That is what I'm talking about.
And that's what I'm saying, is if we include this proposed without it actually being a notice, then we're okay, 'cause that's the way we always.
If you read the statute, and I don't have it in front of me, but it doesn't ask for anything more than what you're proposing to assess the total amount. Certainly out of courtesy, you could include other amounts, individual amounts, which maybe Pat has done in the past, and it's certainly available at the time. But the point is that this first hearing is called the improvement hearing, and it's really to discuss, I mean, the purpose of it is to discuss merely what the improvements are. The assessment hearing, which is the second of the two, is to deal specifically with assessments. Now, obviously, it's hard to separate the two because everybody's interested, obviously, in how much it's going to cost them and how much it's going to impact them. So that's obviously going to come into play at the first hearing. There's no question, it always does.
Is the information that we've received considered public? And so if a property owner wanted to walk into the office and ask, where are we at with mine, without us notifying them of anything, but they could get the estimate, that's
Sure.
perfectly legitimate. They can do
Absolutely.
that. Clearly, then it would be explained that this is an estimate, et cetera, as could anybody else. But once we send it out, then, for that second meeting, then we're in the game and we can't really change it much from there. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, Mayor and council, in the second notice, and we're
Yep.
being more confusing about this than we have to be. In the second notice, my understanding, the practice is in that notice to indicate the estimated, at that point, estimated amount on a per parcel basis. And that's the time at which the cap issue comes in. Whatever is indicated there can't be exceeded.
Okay.
In this first notice, you just, as general information for everybody gets the complete list of estimated assessments, and the reason for that is, I think, apparent. people may or may not support the project when they see a rough estimate of what their assessment is. And so it's important to let them know roughly what the assessments are going to look like so that they know whether they want to show up and,
Okay.
and support or oppose the project.
Very good.
Gary, that wasn't happening.
So everybody's gonna get a copy of this.
Right.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Okay, I'll call the question. To accept the report, Resolution 09-042. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we have a 5-1 with Mr. Coop voting nay. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay, number 8.5, discussing and establishing a ward system for elections.
Oh, that's mine.
Yes, I'm going to let, Mr. Murphy, did you want to introduce this and give Mr. Coop the chance to discuss it?
I guess none other than, yes, Councilmember Coop had requested this item be placed on the agenda for
Okay,
discussion.
very good. Mr. Coop?
Yes, I did. Basically, what I want to do is make a motion for staff to look into what it would take to create a ward system in Belle Plaine. I have no idea. And there's many, many questions I have about it, and I don't know what's legal and what's not. I don't know how to create a ward system if we wanted to. I don't know how, does it have to be